A lot of people out there already hate Meghan without even hearing the whole story. A recent poll found nearly 2/3 of Britons view her negatively. So if that is you, buckle up, because what you think you know is about to be challenged. Do not trust the headlines alone. Meghan's tale has many pages unseen. If you're itching to click away, I get it. But stick around, because once the dust settles, you might find the plot more twisted than you expect. In January 2020, the world got a big jolt. Meghan and Harry announced they were stepping back from royal duty. Critics immediately labeled it Megxit, as if Meghan alone was abandoning the crown. Tabloid screams said she was selfishly dragging Harry away from his family. Posters and pundits blamed the American outsider. But consider this. The couple said they wanted to be financially independent and repay the public for any expenses. They promised a progressive new role outside the monarchy, something unheard of before. You did not hear that part, did you? Instead, we saw memes and jokes. After the announcement, some polls even showed Harry's popularity dropped sharply, while Meghan's remained steady. It was a bizarre start, and that was just Act 1. Then came the Oprah Winfrey interview in 2021, a genuine bombshell. Meghan and Harry sat down and tore away the happy facade of royal life. Meghan calmly said she once felt idle under the pressure when she admitted that jaws dropped worldwide. TV anchors in America replayed her words with sympathy, while Britons took to Twitter in rage. But she did not stop there. She revealed that an unnamed royal had questioned how dark baby Archie's skin might be. For many around the globe, that was a moment of relief. Someone was finally speaking a truth people suspected but had not heard aloud. In Britain, however, the reaction was fury. Critics branded it a betrayal of the family. By the end of the interview, half the world was cheering Meghan's honesty, and the other half was accusing. Meanwhile, the British media was waging its own crusade. From the moment Meghan arrived, tabloids portrayed her as the villain of a made-up drama. They printed story after story. Meghan feuded with Kate. Meghan demanded staffers be fired. Meghan drove assistants away. Even the palace launched an inquiry into claims she drove out 2 personal assistants. Her team called it a smear. One wild headline accused her of wanting her car to be driven backwards. When a paper finally retracted that fake story, hardly anyone noticed. The damage was done. The press crafted one message: "Trust us, she is trouble." To top it off, a Guardian analysis found Meghan got more than twice as many negative headlines as positive ones. Every misstep was magnified. Every charitable act was buried. If you only read those papers, she could do no right. Then came the hypocrisy line. Critics gleefully shouted she begged for privacy and then signed a $100 million Netflix deal. Yes, after stepping back, Meghan and Harry did sign huge deals with Netflix and Spotify. To many royal watchers, it looked like she had traded the crown for cash. Tabloids blasted them for every podcast, book, and TV project, accusing them of turning pain into profit. But here's the twist. Harry and Meghan always said those deals were meant to fund their charitable work and give them independence. They literally repaid the UK taxpayer for anything the palace spent on their home. It is easier to scream hypocrisy than acknowledge that point. In tabloids' eyes, she could do nothing without being self-serving. So is Meghan Markle really the villain the media made her out to be? Let us flip the script and look at what the press did not show you. First, remember that Vanity Fair hailed Meghan as a modern breath of fresh air for the British royals. They were not kidding. Meghan was biracial American, outspoken, everything the monarchy has not been for centuries. When she entered the royal family, she shattered a very stiff mold. She brought diversity literally into the line of succession. Her son Archie was the first biracial child born to that family. For some families around the world, that felt like a victory. To Meghan's critics, it was merely another thing to complain about. But think of it this way. If your granddaughter sees Archie, maybe she will grow up believing she could be a princess too. That is a sign of progress. The old-school press tried hard to ignore. Meghan did not just modernize with words. She acted like it. Within months of her wedding, she spent time volunteering at a community kitchen in London called Hub, then turned that into a charity cookbook for Grenfell Tower fire victims. She gathered celebrity friends to contribute recipes. The book raised a ton of money and became a bestseller. Not what you would expect of a royal protocol project, huh? Yet you probably did not see it on page 1. Instead, you read about Meghan wearing pantsuits without a hat. At least she did something with her fashion sense. Next comes courage and charity. Unlike most royals who keep calm and carry on, Meghan spoke very openly about her struggles. Remember on Oprah, she revealed the darkest moment of her life. In Britain, that earned eye rolls because royals are not supposed to behave like this. But to mental health advocates, it was revolutionary. She said what few would say on TV and immediately started doing something. Shortly after the interview, the couple's Archewell Foundation announced it would donate to mental health charities and racial justice groups. In other words, Meghan did not just air dirty laundry, she used it to fund repair. The Guardian even noted this was the first time one of the palace's own publicly supported anti-racism and mental health causes. You will not find that on a tabloid front page. Speaking of exposing issues, Meghan pulled back the curtain on race in the royal family too. The Oprah comment about Archie's skin tone is historic. A royal context simply does not include talk of race. Overnight, global news programs had experts discussing whether the palace might have a racism problem. Privately, palace aides admitted they had to launch training on inclusion. We may never know all the fallout, but Meghan's revelation made Britain confront something it had swept under the rug. That kind of truth-telling got her labeled ungrateful and liar in the tabloids, but it also forced change. New policies, diverse appointees, and real diversity initiatives were announced soon after. Meghan's supporters see that as impactful. Critics call it attention-seeking. Reality lies somewhere in the middle, but it is still reality. There is another side too. Meghan empowered Harry. Picture Prince Harry before Meghan. The shy younger brother in William's shadow, serving soldiers, but not speaking much about his own pain. After Meghan, Harry found his voice. He went on Oprah, co-wrote books, and campaigned hard on issues like veterans' mental health. Many fans say Meghan gave him the confidence to do that. When Harry published his candid memoir, people joked, "Who wrote this, Meghan?" Because his willingness to tell the truth looked a lot like her style. Whether that credit is fair or not, it flipped the usual script. In the old narrative, Meghan stole Harry. In this one, Meghan saved Harry. Either way, the tabloids hated that twist. Meanwhile, Meghan has become a global brand far beyond royal circles. She launched Archetypes, a podcast where she tackled stereotypes. The episode on feminism with Serena Williams got millions of plays. She even starred in a Netflix film. Back in Britain, she is mostly seen as someone cashing in. But overseas, she is sitting in Vogue editorials and speaking at United Nations events. And Archewell is more than a name. People magazine reported it raised over $5 million in 1 year, distributing more than $1 million to charitable causes. That fact alone contradicts the lazy royal narrative. It shows she is mobilizing real resources. Maybe you have not heard about that in the tabloids. They were more interested in the size of her coat lapel than her bank accounts. One more angle. Meghan's story is oddly relatable. She paid rent like anyone else. She had a lifestyle blog and an acting career before royalty. Millions of fans connect with that American Cinderella vibe. Meanwhile, royal traditionalists cannot stand it because it suggests "why not me?" It is a threat to the old guard's idea that royals are a special breed. In the US, she is practically a folk hero. In Britain, she is a bogeyman. If you think about it, someone from the royal circles is usually beloved like Princess Diana once was. Meghan just happened to arrive at a time when the lines are drawn differently. And here is one last thing to consider. Meghan Markle is still legally a Duchess of Sussex, whether anyone likes it or not. Tweets and petitions may rage, but only King Charles could strip her of that title. She gave up working as a working royal, but she never gave up her name. That means she is tied to this story permanently. For her critics, that is infuriating. They have succeeded in nothing except forcing a very old family to acknowledge that their newest duchess turned out to be nothing like they expected. So, what is the final twist? Meghan Markle's story is not black and white. She made enemies by speaking out and leaving tradition behind, but she also won millions of hearts by being herself. Is she the villain the tabloids painted, or is she a kind of reluctant heroine? We will leave that for you to decide. But here is a thought to take away. Meghan forced conversations about issues royals had long avoided, and maybe, just maybe, that is exactly the kind of story we needed.